Right. What is hacking? Well, there are many terms being thrown about, but in the 90s there is hacking, cracking, phreaking, and that's about it really. In the year 2009, these terms have changed and taken on new meaning. People are confused. Let me give you a blast from the past and define these terms for you. Let's start with the term cracking. Cracking means removing a security feature. Now just take that in. Usually deciphering an encryption algorithm and posting a program that shows your work in action. Right? So hacking, this means gaining root access to a system. Phreaking, this means exploiting a phone network. Now, what is exactly an exploit? Now, Webster's dictionary defines it as to use or manipulate to one's advantage. He exploit the new taxation system. The keyword is manipulate. This in computing terms means writing code to manipulate the process of system command execution. Well, what is the system command execution? Well, there are registers, and with the registers are pointers to memory locations. The pointers keep track of where the code has jumped from, what it has to run now, and where it is going in the future. The registers hold data such as commands and variables. A variable is just a piece of data, be it numerical or string. This data is dynamic and can changes through calculations and system operations. Whew. Now, for instance, there could be a character matching function that takes a string and loads off each character into a variable. The variable, called char, will change with each new character of the string, whereas the function will only return true if a match is made. Now, considering the function, and if a match is made, a jump operation will take place to a different pointer location. Now remember the registers and the pointers, it will be a different pointer location compared to when a false return is made. Now manipulating the pointer to point to your own code is how most exploits are devised. I personally have wrote in C a buffer overflow that was wrote over the system command pointer and pointed to my own little routine that would loop once when a key was pressed and exit. So basically, I went into the loop and it would say press a key. I would press a key, the overflow would execute, and it would say press a key again, then it would exit. Such things are the building blocks of the current day exploits. However, a new breed of monster is being created in the operating system worlds today called random allocation memory. This is where the system kernel is loaded dynamically or randomly into the RAM so as to defeat these exploits. It is getting much harder to write a buffer overflow than it was with XP, for instance, compared to Vista and Windows 7. Well, it's come to an end now, so leave some comments. What do you think of the definitions we used back in the 90s? Are they relevant to today? I'll start this again. Are they relevant to today's computing world, or have they been outdated with new meaning? Now, comment and remember, Linux is an alternative, not the end, of the operating system race. It has given you the means to making your own operating system. The source code is out there. Back in the 80s, we never had open source code and had to write our own code and decompile others' code to learn. Now everyone is embracing the open source movement and knowledge is free. But are people really using it, or just configuring their GUIs on Linux to make their Windows wobble? Is that what Linux was really about? Making your GUI Windows wobble? Or is it about writing your own operating system and freeing yourself from all these commercial corporations? Now, I my videos have. Let me just check the time. It's not giving me the time. Anyway, my videos have on Linux, on YouTube, the videos about Linux. I've given you the opportunity to make your own bootstrap. So that's your own boot sector. From that boot sector on Clita and APO networks, from that boot sector, you can then boot into your own kernel, and you can start learning about writing your own kernel. You can start learning writing your own process manager. You can write your own GUI if you so desire one, but I highly recommend that you don't write a GUI, because GUIs suck. Even though you wouldn't be watching this if there was no GUI, but GUIs do suck. I prefer the command line. Back in the 80s, our computers plugged into the TV set. We had a command line. That was it, and we typed code and made the graphics ourselves. That's what it's all about. You see, I'm 31. I've been programming since the age of about 6 or 8. I can't remember. Back in the 80s, I started programming on a ZX Spectrum and a BBC Micro, and we use these machines at school, and I use a ZX Spectrum at home, and would write our own programs, because that's all you could do, is script code in BASIC, basically write our own script. Now that is script. C is a scripting language. Now assembler, and that's kind of a lower level scripting language, whereas machine code, which I also know how to write in, is more, well, it's just that, it's machine code. It's numbers, basically, hexadecimal numbers or binary numbers, however you want to define it, however you want to count with the system. Make your system count. It will count in hex or binary or decimal if you want, if you so desire it. If you write a program to count your commands in decimal, I don't know. Anyway, I know how to code in hex, in binary, and so on. I know how to read this code and write it. For instance, 7C. Do you all know what that means in assembly? 7C, man. Anyway, I'm gonna chill now and blow this joint.